All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into one of the biggest fights of the 21st century. It's not fought with tanks, jets, or AI-powered drones. No, this battle is waged in the digital trenches of central banks, blockchain networks, and, more importantly, your bank account. Welcome to Full Spectrum Frontiers. I'm your host, Bennett Tanton, and if you've been paying attention, you know we are at a serious crossroads when it comes to money. How we earn it, store it, and most importantly, how we're allowed to spend it. Cash is dying. If you don't believe me, try buying a plane ticket with a stack of 20s. Or better yet, tell a Gen Z kid to carry some emergency cash and watch them look at you like you just asked them to churn their own butter. Physical money is being phased out, but here's the real question. Is that happening naturally, or is this an orchestrated power grab? We've got three big players on the board. Cryptocurrency, the rebellious teenager of finance, promising decentralization, privacy, and a world without middlemen. CBDCs, Central Bank Digital Currencies, the state-sponsored answer to crypto, offering convenience with a side of surveillance. The private sector and banks, corporate giants pushing for a cashless society, not for your convenience, but for their profit margins and control. What does all this mean for you? Well, in a world where every transaction is monitored, programmable, and potentially reversible, financial freedom starts looking a lot like financial servitude. Today, we're breaking down who really controls the future of money, what happens when all cash disappears, and how you can protect your financial sovereignty before it's too late. But before we get into it, quick reminder, if you like what you hear, make sure to like, share, and leave a review. The more people we get thinking critically about these issues, the harder it is for those in power to pull the wool over our eyes. All right, let's get to it. First up, how did we get here? How did we go from gold-backed money and greenbacks in your wallet to a world where every dollar is just a number on a screen, subject to deletion if some bureaucrat decides you're a problem? Let's break it down. Money, at its core, is about trust. It's a symbol, a stand-in for value, a way to exchange goods and services without bartering chickens for firewood like it's the 13th century. But over time, who we trust with our money has shifted dramatically, and not always for the better. Gold, paper, and the illusion of stability. For most of human history, money was something tangible. Gold, silver, salt, yes, salt, were all used as currency at different points because they were scarce, valuable, and, most importantly, couldn't be created out of thin air. If a king wanted more gold coins, he had to get his hands dirty, mine it, mint it, and actually work for it. Then came paper money, a receipt, a promise that your paper note could be exchanged for gold or silver at a bank. This system, known as the gold standard, kept governments in check because they couldn't print more money than they had in actual gold reserves. That lasted until August 15, 1971, when Richard Nixon walked up to a podium and basically said, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore." With the stroke of a pen, the US dollar was no longer backed by gold, and just like that, the government could print as much money as it wanted without anything tangible to back it up. Sound like a bad idea? Well, it gets worse. Fiat currency, the house of cards economy. Enter fiat currency, money that has value simply because the government says it does. No gold, no silver, just faith in the system. In theory, this works as long as people believe in the stability of their currency. In practice, it's a ticking time bomb. Governments, now completely unshackled from the limitations of a gold standard, went wild printing money to fund wars, bail out banks, and prop up unsustainable welfare states, The result? Inflation, recessions, and debt levels so high they make a Ponzi scheme look responsible. Fiat money is easily manipulated. Interest rates, money supply, inflation targets, all dictated by central banks with little oversight and zero accountability. And when it all goes wrong, they just print more. But here's where things take a turn. If fiat currency was already sketchy, what happens when we move into a fully digital economy where physical cash doesn't even exist? That's where we're headed, whether we like it or not. The digital shift, convenience or control. Over the past few decades, cash transactions have steadily declined. Credit cards, PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, money has become more digital, more convenient. But here's the thing about convenience. It's a double-edged sword. Digital payments mean fewer security risks, faster transactions, and less hassle with physical bills. But they also mean every transaction is recorded, traceable, and subject to oversight. Ever had your bank freeze your account because of a suspicious transaction? Imagine that on a global scale. Imagine a world where all money is digital, cash no longer exists, and your ability to buy and sell is entirely dependent on whether a financial institution or government entity approves of your behavior. It sounds dystopian, but we're already seeing the warning signs. Governments love control, and digital money gives it to them. Governments hate cash for one reason. It's untraceable. It allows people to operate outside their watchful eye. No records, no oversight, no ability to freeze or reverse a transaction. This is why governments despise cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. It takes financial control away from them and puts it in the hands of individuals. And what do governments do when they feel threatened? They counterattack. Enter Central Bank Digital Currencies, CBDCs. The state's answer to crypto, and possibly the biggest threat to financial freedom we've ever seen. That's what we'll be tackling in the next section. How CBDCs work, why they're being pushed so hard, and what happens when every dollar you own comes with a set of terms and conditions. All right, let's get into the beast itself. Central Bank Digital Currencies, or CBDCs. You've probably heard the buzz about them, maybe seen the headlines about the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, or the People's Bank of China rolling out their own digital currencies. They're selling it as innovation, efficiency, and progress. But what they're really building is the ultimate surveillance tool. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. CBDCs aren't just digital dollars. They're programmable money controlled entirely by the state. And if that doesn't set off alarm bells, you haven't been paying attention. What exactly is a CBDC? A CBDC is a digital version of a country's currency issued directly by the central bank. Unlike decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, which operate on a permissionless, borderless blockchain, CBDCs are completely centralized. Every transaction, every purchase, every transfer runs through government-controlled digital ledgers. The pitch? Faster payments, less fraud. No middlemen like banks taking their cut. The reality? Total financial surveillance and control. Think about it. When you use cash, there's no record of where it came from or what you spent it on. With a CBDC, every transaction is permanently logged, monitored, and potentially restricted. And that opens the door for some seriously dystopian possibilities. Programmable money, the power to control your spending. One of the most dangerous aspects of CBDCs is their programmability. This isn't just about digital convenience. It's about the ability to control how money is used. Let's say a government decides to encourage socially responsible spending. With programmable money, they could restrict purchases. Want to buy a gun? Sorry, CBDC says no. Enforce expiration dates. Your stimulus check expires in 60 days. Use it or lose it. Control transactions by social behavior. Oh, you posted something problematic on social media? Your spending is limited until you comply. Sounds like a dystopian conspiracy theory, right? Except it's already happening. China's digital yuan, the blueprint for financial tyranny. China is leading the charge with its digital yuan, and it's a real-world test case for how CBDCs can be used to enforce compliance and suppress dissent. The digital yuan is integrated with China's infamous social credit system, meaning if your score drops, maybe you criticized the government or jaywalked too many times, your financial privileges can be revoked. Want to book a train ticket? Denied. Want to travel abroad? Not allowed. Want to buy something the state disapproves of? Transaction blocked. That's not financial innovation, it's digital authoritarianism. And here's the kicker. Western governments aren't far behind. The global push for CBDCs. The Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the IMF, they're all pushing for CBDCs under the guise of modernizing the financial system. The Bank of England, for example, has openly discussed the idea of a CBDC with spending controls, meaning they decide what you're allowed to buy. The Biden administration has already released an executive order calling for research into a digital dollar. The Fed is exploring it, with trials being conducted as we speak. Once they introduce it, they'll start by saying it's voluntary, an alternative to cash. But just like cash has slowly been phased out, CBDCs will become the default, and once they do, we lose control over our own money. And that's the point. CBDCs aren't about innovation. They're about power. The power to monitor, control, and ultimately dictate financial behavior. But here's the thing. Governments can't pull this off alone. They need help from the private sector. The banks, the payment processors, the corporations pushing a cashless society. And that's what we'll tackle next. How major banks and corporations are waging war on cash. Not for your benefit, but to consolidate their own control. Now that we've established how CBDCs are a Trojan horse for control, let's talk about the war on cash. Because it's not just governments pushing this agenda. The private sector, banks, payment processors, big tech, all have a vested interest in eliminating physical money. Why? Simple. Cash is freedom. Digital money is control. How the private sector is killing cash. Banks and corporations have been chipping away at cash for years, but they're not outright banning it yet. Instead, they're making it inconvenient, risky, and obsolete. Bank branches closing, fewer places to withdraw or deposit cash. Retailers going card only. No cash accepted. Forced digital adoption. Cashless stadiums, venues, and businesses, selling you on speed and security while quietly eliminating choice. Big banks penalizing cash use, higher fees, withdrawal limits, or outright refusal to process large cash transactions. This isn't about innovation. It's about forcing you into a system where they can track and profit from every transaction you make. And let's not forget the security excuse, the idea that cash is only used by criminals. Governments and banks push this narrative hard, claiming that digital payments reduce money laundering, drug trafficking, and tax evasion, which sure, criminals use cash, but so do normal people who just want privacy. Not everything needs to be tracked. Not everything needs to be monitored. But in a cashless society, privacy disappears. The playbook, phasing out cash without a backlash. The shift away from cash isn't happening overnight. That would trigger too much resistance. Instead, they're using a gradual boil-the-frog approach. Make cash inconvenient. Fewer ATMs, fewer businesses accepting it. Push digital alternatives, credit cards, Venmo, Apple Pay, Tap to Pay, all framed as better and faster. Use crises to justify restrictions. During COVID, they pushed the idea that cash is dirty and digital payments were safer. Expect more of this with future crises. Normalize digital payments in everyday life. Schools, government offices, and businesses move to digital-only transactions. Each step pushes people further into the cashless trap until one day, physical money just vanishes. And once cash is gone, the real control begins. The risks of a fully cashless society. In a world where every transaction is digital, you're one policy change away from financial servitude. Here's what happens when there's no escape hatch, no under-the-table transactions, no off-the-books barter economy. Financial censorship becomes effortless. Disagree with the government? Your account is frozen. Support the wrong cause? Your payment is blocked. Too much unapproved spending? Your money is restricted. Negative interest rates and forced spending. Want to save money? Too bad. With programmable digital currency, they can force spending to stimulate the economy. Your money expires if you don't use it within a set time frame. Social credit-style controls on transactions. Buy too much red meat? Carbon tax automatically deducted. Travel too often? Climate penalty applied to your account. Buy from a business deemed problematic? Your transaction is rejected? Think this is far-fetched? It's already happening. Canada froze bank accounts of trucker protesters in 2022 under emergency powers. PayPal proposed a policy to fine users for misinformation before public backlash forced them to backtrack. China's digital yuan is already linked to behavioral restrictions in their social credit system. How do we fight back? Look, they want us to believe this transition is inevitable, that we should just roll over and accept a cashless, programmable future. But here's the truth. They need our compliance. We still have options. Use cash whenever possible. The more we use it, the harder it is for them to phase it out. Support businesses that accept cash. Vote with your wallet, literally. Opt for decentralized finance, DeFi alternatives, Bitcoin, Monero, self-custody wallets. Take control of your own money. Push back against government overreach. Contact lawmakers. Raise awareness. Demand transparency. Diversify assets. Don't keep all your wealth in one system they control. At the end of the day, money is power. And if we let them control our money, they control us. But we don't have to accept it. We still have a say in how the future of money unfolds. All right, let's bring this home. We're standing at the edge of a financial revolution, whether we like it or not. Cash is on life support. CBDCs are creeping in. Private banks and corporations are tightening their grip on the system. The future of money isn't just about technology. It's about power, control, and freedom. If we don't start paying attention, if we just go along with every convenient change, we'll wake up one day in a world where our financial autonomy is gone. A world where your ability to buy, sell, or even access your own money isn't just a right. It's a privilege that can be revoked at any time. But here's the good news. Nothing is set in stone. The elites pushing this agenda need our compliance to make it work. They need us to voluntarily ditch cash, embrace CBDCs, and hand over control of our financial lives without a fight. But we can push back by using cash, supporting decentralized alternatives, and demanding accountability from our financial institutions and governments. This is a battle that goes beyond economics. It's about who owns your future, you or the people in power. I don't know about you, but I prefer a future where I make my own financial decisions, not a bureaucrat, not a central bank, and definitely not a corporation that sees me as a data point. Now, before you go, do me a favor. If you found this episode valuable, Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Post it, text it, send it to your buddy who still thinks CBDCs are just another version of Venmo. The more people we wake up to what's happening, the harder it is for them to sell us this dystopian future as progress. And if you haven't yet, leave a review, hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed. This is Full Spectrum Frontiers, and we're just getting started. Stay sharp, stay informed, and as always, question everything. Until next time.
It's just you, me, and the odds. We stuck together, we two peas in a pod. You dealt a bad hand, I'm there seizing the cards. We'll never be separated till we see in the gods. We've been low together, high forever. Long as we go together, we'll die whenever. Be a light, couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never. And when the world gets a little too hard, wipe your eyes, put away your sorrow. When it's war, I'll be leading the charge, and I'll be still fighting for you tomorrow. Yeah, even with a blindfold or in different time zones, could find my way to you with my eyes closed. There's nothing between us. Go to Mars or Venus, stand in front of every one of them rocks, they slinging and be a shield. Yeah.
In the fiercest battle, I'll defend you. From all these arrows in the sword I wield, will keep you from danger. Let me be your shield.
Yeah, let's go. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield.
You may be facing tribulation, but don't let it get you down. What I'm saying may take patience, but you're gonna make it out. I scorched my